Welcome back to my channel. Chessie here, aka MissCheekyholic. So today is volume 2 for my Which Looks Better series. So if you don't know what is the Which Looks Better series, so it's a series of dupes or affordable and high-end eyeshadow palettes. So today we are going to talk about the dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Gold edition. So this is the original palette, the Rose Gold edition. So I'm going to compare it with the Bad Habit Beauty Aphrodite palette. So more about Bad Habit Beauty. Bad Habit Beauty is a US brand, but you can only find it in shophush.com. But these palettes are made in PRC, which is made in China. But anyway, let's talk more about that later. So I have both palettes on my eyes. One is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold and the other one is the Bad Habit Aphrodite palette. I want you guys to pause this video and guess which is which. Which do you think is the high-end one? I am very excited to share this with you guys because looking at the viewfinder, I can't even tell which is which. So if you want to know my thoughts on both palettes and also see the tutorial that I did, then please keep on watching.
Okay, to start off this look, I primed my eyes with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Medium Moyen. Then using Shy as my transition shade with the Rose Gold. For the Aphrodite, I did the same procedure using blushing. So first, I started at the outer corner going up to the inner corner. For the crease, I placed Flamingo below our transition shade with the Rose Gold. Then for the Aphrodite, I placed Flirt, still focusing it at the outer corner going to the inner corner of my eye. Went back to the brush I used for our transition shade to help blend the shades together. So I decided to do a halo eye, placing Man-Eater slowly at the outer corner of my eye. Sorry for this, my boyfriend suddenly offered me a sandwich even though he knew I was in the middle of filming. Still, I found it so sweet. Going back to the Man-Eater, just intensifying the shade. Then did the same procedure at the inner corner of my eye. Then blending it back to the outer corner. Did the same procedure with the Aphrodite using Flirt. So first placing the shade to the outer corner, then the inner corner. If you noticed, I did less steps with the Aphrodite because it was way more pigmented than the Rose Gold. Went back to Flirt and placed it all over the crease. Did the same thing with the Rose Gold, placing Flamingo all over the crease. To help blend all the shades together, went back to Shy and placed it above the crease. Using blushing and did the same procedure with the Aphrodite. Now using my middle finger, I placed Rose Gold at the outer corner of my eye. This shade is a pressed glitter, so expect fallout. For the middle part of my lid, I used Angelic, spreading it on my lids but just on the middle. Then going back to Rose Gold for the inner corner part of my eye. Now I'm just blending what's left with the brush I used for my transition shade. This will help marry all the shades together. So for the Aphrodite palette, same procedure, patting the shade Beauty at the outer corner of my eye. Then placing Crush on the middle. Then patting Beauty also at the inner corner of my eye. Blend with our transition shade brush. So now I'm intensifying Crush on the middle of my eye. I wasn't satisfied, so I sprayed a little bit of Fix Plus. There we go. For the lower lash line, I placed Flamingo all over with the Rose Gold. Then for the Aphrodite, I placed Flirt. Then I added Man-Eater on the lower lash line. For the Aphrodite palette, I used Lust. Still not satisfied with my lower lash line, I used Bossy. Using Jealousy to smoke it out, I placed Bay. Then for the Aphrodite, I placed Coy. For my inner corners, I used Angelic. Then for the Aphrodite, I used Crush. So this completes the look. For the lippy, I used the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Gossip Girl, then topped it off with Socialite.
Okay, now for the review for both palettes. So on my left side was the Huda Beauty Rose Gold, and on my right was the Aphrodite palette. So we are going to talk about the Huda Beauty Rose Gold edition. Let's start with the review. The Rose Gold has a very simple packaging. It's clear so you can see the shadows already. Now the box has Huda Beauty's eyes, but it's just a sleeve there. It also has a magnetic closure. Yeah, that's it. It's very simple. So this is how the shadow looks like. They're more of reddish berry tone shades. I really love the look that I created with this palette. Well, with both palettes. Let's talk more about the formula of the Rose Gold. So if we compare this to the Desert Dusk, if you haven't watched my Desert Dusk versus Athena palette, I'll just put it here. I don't know, I am not that impressed with the formula of this if I compare it to the Desert Dusk and even the Aphrodite palette. For the mattes have a dry formula, but it's way drier than the Desert Dusk one. I found that the mattes were not that easy to work with because it was very, very dry. Especially the shade Man-Eater. Now, I did kind of accidentally wet this shade. So, I don't know what happened, but it's very... I mean, it's still pigmented, but when you swatch it, can you see? It's not that great anymore. I was really disappointed with the mattes on this palette. But the shimmer shades, of course, they're very beautiful. They're textured shadows, they're pressed pearls, they're very reflective, and I really love it. Honestly, I would only purchase this if I still could, just for the shimmer or the pressed glitter shades. Now, there is a remastered edition. So I believe that they launched a remastered one. So this is already discontinued. That's the new version. The remastered has a better formula. I'm still contemplating if I should get that because I'm very curious about the formula of those shadows because I fell in love with the Desert Dusk. This one, I do love the angelic shade. I think for the shimmers, this is my favorite shade. But the angelic can be found in the Desert Dusk. So, yeah. But as you can see, they're very soft. And I'm going to swatch. Can you see how reflective and how beautiful? So pretty. I had fun playing with the palette. I love the shadows, the color selection. I love the pressed glitter and the shimmer shades on my eyes. What I like about this palette is the longevity. Same with the Desert Dusk. This will last for a long time. I actually wore this at a party and I forgot to take it out, so I slept with my makeup on. I do not recommend you do that, but sadly I did. And I was so impressed with this shade. This is what I placed on my eyes, Trust Fund, on my lids because it stayed until I woke up. So I was very shocked with how the longevity of this lasted on my eyes. But that's it. I mean, one, this is already discontinued. Two, even if it is still available, it is very expensive. Same with the Desert Dusk, it is $65. I cannot justify the price of this for $65 because of the dupe and also because of the formula of the Desert Dusk. This is the Aphrodite palette. This is how it looks like. Same packaging with the Athena, but this has a black design. When you open it, it has a mirror. So it's very nice when you travel or when you just do your makeup in general. And then has a magnetic closure, and these are the shadows. Very similar with the Rose Gold. The shadows are jumbled. It doesn't have the same order with the Rose Gold, but it's practically the same. You can create the same or very similar looks as you can see on my eyes. More about the formula of these shadows. The formula of these shadows, for me, in my own opinion, it is better than the ATHENA one. I don't know, but I wasn't that impressed with the ATHENA because I am comparing it with the Desert Dust. The Rose Gold, when I compare it to the Aphrodite palette, I was very impressed with this. Why? So for the formula, the shadows are very pigmented, they are smooth, they are buttery. I just love the matte shades. As you can see, that was the white shade. It's very pigmented. It is a little bit powdery, but not as powdery as the ATHENA. I just like this more than the ATHENA. For the shimmer shades, I am very impressed with Bad Habit shimmer shades. Just like the ATHENA, it was very nice. It was very comparable. The pigmentation is great. What I noticed, like this one, it's also very smooth, very buttery. I'm going to swatch it here. Can you see? It's almost the same. You saw that from the swatches. But the shimmer shades on this are not textured shadows. But I'm very impressed because even though it is not a textured shadow, I did not have a hard time putting it on my finger or just using a brush with the shimmers, which is what I love. Honestly, I don't like putting shimmers with my fingers. I would rather use a brush. But that is just my opinion. But yeah, this is such a great palette and it is not discontinued. This is $12 in shophush.com. There are some resellers and Shopee sellers who sell the Bad Habit Beauty palette. I'm just gonna put it here. If you want to purchase this, I got this for 1,100. Same with the ATHENA. So for my final verdict, which looks better? Well, if you're talking about overall, I would say go with the Aphrodite palette. The Aphrodite palette has a better formula in terms of the mattes because it is very pigmented, it's easy to blend, it is a little bit powdery, but you just have to tap off your brush. The shimmer shades may not be as good as the Rose Gold one, but it is very comparable and it's very similar. Not the same formula, but the look on your eyes is very similar. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love the Rose Gold one. This was one of my favorite palettes before, but now that I've tried the Desert Dust and also I've tried the Aphrodite palette, which is a dupe, honestly, I would be fine if I didn't have this. So I highly recommend you get the Aphrodite palette. It is way more affordable, it has a better formula, and overall, this is way better. So yeah, that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you like it. And comment down below what are your thoughts on both palettes. And also let me know guys if you want me to review the Rose Gold Remastered Edition versus the Aphrodite palette. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next one. Bye! So it is a Shopee and there are some resellers and Shopee sellers. So for my final